5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
There you go.
Good morning, everyone. We're here. It's Friday, September 24th, 2021. It's 9:30. We're here for our work session for Commissioners Court. First item we've got on the agenda today is the auditor. You don't have it? Do you have anything?
No, sir.
All right.
Nothing to report.
And then on the treasurer's report, nothing to report.
No, sir.
But then item number 2, discuss and approve the 2022 Hale County Medical and Benefit Plan.
That's me.
That's you.
Do y'all mind if I sit right here?
No, ma'am.
If I stand, I tend to pace. So. And I've got extras for the commissioners that are not here.
Thank you.
I'll put it in their box.
So when
Let me have one
Jason.
of those, please. Oh, no, I was going to give you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem.
On the right side of your packet, the first thing you're going to see is the renewal spreadsheet. When we met last, of course, we didn't have the renewal from TAC. We have since received the renewal. 2020 and 2021 were both really difficult across the entire book of business for Blue Cross Blue Shield. You guys are in the pooled, Texas Association of Counties, so you fared fairly well. What you'll see on this spreadsheet is you'll have the current benefit plan, and this is your stop-loss plan. It illustrates your deductible, co-insurance, out-of-pocket maximum. You do have a specific stop-loss of $40,000 per individual that's covered under the plan, which means that when their claims exceed $40,000, you get reimbursement for that. You pay for that stop-loss coverage. Renewal is what you'll be paying going forward in 2022. So if we look down, we talked about the benefits here. We talked about the $40,000 specific stop loss. Your total fixed costs, these are the costs that you pay, or what you pay Blue Cross to administer the plan, and then pay for your specific stop loss coverage. So fixed costs are spent regardless. I mean, that's you're going to spend the fixed cost regardless of whatever happens with the plan. So for 2021, the fixed costs are $786,118. There is a 13% increase to the fixed cost. So fixed cost for 2022 will be $888,478. The only variation, there won't be a variation to the rate, but those premiums each month will vary based on head count, because you only pay for the employees that are covered on the plan. So that increase amounts to $102,360 for the plan year. The aggregate coverage is, this is where you fund your claims account. This is where claims get paid out of. So the maximum claims factor, there's a maximum claims factor, and then there's an expected claims factor. So the expected claims factor is where your underwriter has looked at your claims history, looked at your demographics, looked at the current conditions, and estimated what they think that claims will be for 2022 based on all of that. And then the maximum claims factor is that expected claims factor times 125%. They do allow a 25% risk corridor. So the reason we illustrate that maximum claims factor is because no matter what happens, if the bottom falls out of the plan, the maximum claims factor is your absolute worst case scenario. Okay? So your annual attachment point, which is that maximum claims factor, is increasing by $198,595. Your expected claims are increasing by $158,877. When you look at your projected plan cost, currently the maximum is $2.2 million, and that includes your fixed cost, plus your maximum claims or your attachment point. That's again your worst case scenario. That's the most that it could possibly be charged back to the county for claims and fixed costs. In 2022, it's $2.5 million, or $2,503,930. So an increase of $300,000 would be the most increased liability that you would have. I did ask Miss Gina to get me the bank balance today, and it looks like in the claims fund there's $927,000, a little over $927,000. We're not sure if September has been funded the county funds about $80,000 a month, and then the employee premiums are a little over $12,000 a month. So if we just look at October, November, and December, we're going to have another $240,000 coming from the county and $36,000 coming from employee payroll deductions. If September hasn't been funded yet, then that would be another $92,000 combined for September. So assuming that September has already been funded, then that would put that claims account at $1.2 million. You also have a little over $19,000 still coming in stop loss reimbursements for the claims that have exceeded that $40,000. So you guys are in really good shape. If you look at the next page, this is the ag summary, and we're not going to go through this in detail. If you have questions, obviously, stop me and ask questions. But the last time we met, we had claims through June, and the plan was running really hot. The plan was running at 108% of the ag, or the maximum claims factor, and then 135% of expected. July was another difficult month, but August, claims really went down. So through August, claims are running at 96% of ag, or that maximum claims factor, and then 120% of expected. So this is where you can see that being part of that pool with TAC it certainly did benefit this year.
That may be the lowest paid medical in a long time.
It's really incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really incredible. So, $1.9 million is the total paid amount, and then $992,000 has been reimbursed by your stop loss coverage. So the net paid claims $908,893. So it's always good to see those low numbers at the end of the plan year, because if you'll remember, you had 1 month in February of 2021 that there was $833,000 month. That hurt. That certainly hurt. The next report is the large claimant report. It is de-identified, so there's no HIPAA information on there. There's nothing really to discuss on here, nothing new, no shop claims, just a continuation, just to give you an update versus what was happening in June versus now. We did illustrate in the far right column as well the stop loss reimbursement. So if going through there you have any questions about that, let me know. Again, it is de-identified, so it doesn't have any protected health information on it. A couple of things that are just action items from TAC. Did you have any questions about that? Oh, Judge, okay. COVID coverage. So, there was a national emergency relief that was implemented with COVID coverage, and it's been continued through the end of 2021. There are some decisions that Texas Association of Counties is putting back in your lap, and so I've illustrated them here. First, COVID testing at no charge. There's no decision to be made on that. They're going to continue to cover the COVID testing at no charge to the member. COVID medical treatment, your current benefit on that is that it's covered just like any other illness. And so you do have the choice of following the pool, where it's based on your current benefit plan, or changing that benefit and covering it however you would want to. Certainly the recommendation would be just to continue what you have now, because that provides you with, that a protection for the employee. The COVID vaccine is currently on the formulary. It's currently covered as, well, we're not to that yet. It's on the formulary, which means it's a list of medications that are covered. Texas Association of Counties is going to continue to carry that on the formulary. You do have the choice to take it off of the formulary, which means that employees will have access to it. Their recommendation, obviously, is to keep it on the formulary, but that is a decision that y'all can make. And then the last regarding the vaccine, currently it is covered as preventive with no copay to the member. You have the decision, or you can continue to cover that as preventive, or you can implement a copay. If you implement a copay, we would just illustrate it here. There's a signature page, but this is just for illustration. You'll have a packet to sign once everything is approved or changed. And then the last thing, this just came out yesterday regarding ivermectin. If anybody has watched the news, there's lots and lots and lots of talk about ivermectin. Navitus, who is the prescription benefit management company for TAC, says we're not going to cover Navitus for something that is not FDA approved. So they are implementing prior authorization for ivermectin for the treatment of COVID. They have listed here the treatment that ivermectin is FDA approved and that they would cover without prior authorization. But they are implementing prior authorization to get that treatment. And this is the tablet. This is not in the hospital. This is the tablet that a physician would prescribe and you would fill at the pharmacy. The county has the choice. You can agree and follow what Texas Association of Counties is doing, or you can opt out of that policy, which means you would continue to allow your members to get ivermectin for COVID treatment without prior authorization. I asked what the cost would be, and it's $53 per prescription, so it's certainly not, punitive to you or to the member, you being the county. And I also asked if treatment of that would impact any claims for someone who had a hospital stay or high claims after taking that, and they said no, it would not impact. It would not impact their coverage after that. So, the recommendation on the COVID treatments would be to continue as you are. On the ivermectin, it's entirely up to y'all.
Is that a preventative medicine, or do you just take it when you are
It can be
diagnosed?
prescribed for either. They specifically say in here for treatment or prevention. It's kind of like everything else with COVID right now. You've got doctors that are for it and doctors that are against it. So the decision I guess you're making here is, does the county want to make a stand and say we want prior authorization, we want to make sure that Navitus thinks that it's medically necessary and go through all that, or allow a member to get it without having to go through prior authorization? So, and that's it. That's all I have.
Well, it wasn't too bad.
No.
Better than I've seen some in the past.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. It's been a really, really hard year claims-wise, and, heaven only knows what's coming in the future as far as all this COVID treatment.
Kid.
These are the documents that you will sign, obviously not today. We will need these back. We've got to submit them to TAC by 10/1. The renewal notice and benefit confirmation talks about your funding and the benefit plans. This illustrates exactly what we went through on that spreadsheet, so you can compare this to the spreadsheet. This is a continuation of the wellness program elections that you have right now. And then the COVID decisions and the ivermectin decisions, which that's a COVID decision as well, but it's that specific ivermectin.
Okay.
Either I will be here or Jason will be here on Monday, so if you have any questions that come up in the meantime, we'll be prepared to answer them on Monday.
All righty.
Okay?
Thank you for
Is that
being
it?
here.
Of course. Y'all have a great weekend.
Good to see you.
You too. Next time I want to see baby pictures.
Yeah, I have my phone.
Did you sign the roster?
I did.
She did.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. Y'all
All right.
take care.
Thank
Have
you,
a
ma'am.
good weekend.
All right, and then to continue our meeting, on today's agenda, a couple of things. I have High Plains Food Bank out of Amarillo. Each year they asked us to contribute to that. I don't believe we've ever contributed to it, but they send a request each year. And then the other thing, the City of Hale Center has a couple of properties that they have agreed on a price of $250 for each property, and they're wanting us to agree to that price also. And those properties are listed there. All right, and that concludes today's agenda. Looking at Mondays, Ida will present the financial and affidavit. Do you know anything about the safety committee, Gina?
No, sir.
Okay. She has a deal listed on there, approve a safety committee. On my item, Jesse actually, to hire someone to work on Hale County buildings at a $20 an hour rate, contract labor. He has a couple of people that I think he's talked to that may have some general skill level. We're not talking about any professional services or anything like that, but just some things that we need done around the
Minor stuff.
courthouse. And a couple of them are already county employees, and so we can't have them, work for the extra money without it being a contract labor deal, without getting into labor standards. And he has went and talked to Ida about it. That's what I told him he needed to do. So, let's see. And then the sheriff, you want to go over your items, David?
Yeah, I have personnel, and then the leads online, the investigative tool, is renewal for this time.
Has it gone up or is it staying?
Do what?
Has it gone up or is it staying about the same?
And then equipment, to advise y'all that I'm spending money on my asset forfeiture fund. Taser, Axon Incorporated updated their policy back in August. And they're advising not to pay somebody that is intoxicated or on drugs. With all the liability, they don't accept any of the liability. So there is a company that has come out with a gun like Taser, but it shoots pepper, OC spray, shoots a little, I can't explain it.
Looks like OC
String,
cartridge,
but it's not like a water gun. I mean, it shoots it out. You can shoot them in the face. No cross-contamination on that there. We bought one for all the deputies, courthouse security, bailiffs, and some to use in the jail. That cost them $30,000.
Did you test it out?
Oh, yeah. I've already sent two guys to school. Randall County is going to them. So they said if you'll let us train two of your guys, we'll charge you roughly one. So they come down and it's a whole lot better, easy. You don't have to call an ambulance after you tase them. You just clean them up with water from the jail. And not much liability. So we'll be spending that $30,000 out of asset forfeiture.
All righty. Any questions of David on that? Harold asked me to bring up, he had been contacted by somebody with Plainview Cemetery about doing some road patch work on their roads. Also, that's what this is. He called me this morning and asked me to bring it up or let y'all know what it was about. And he'll be here Monday to have more details about it. He said he had talked to Jim Irie and it was something that was permissible to do. But it still would require the court to approve it.
I kind of spoke to him about that a little bit. To my knowledge, we've never done that.
No, I don't think so. And so, like I said, I don't know a lot about it other than what he told me this morning. And so, but that's something we'll probably need to talk a little more in depth about on Monday.
I think he had received a complaint or two about showing the roads out there.
Yeah, I know he said he had, and I can't remember who told me, reached out to him and asked him about it. And so, but anyway, we'll talk about that on Monday. And then Phyllis Wall will be here Monday. She's looking for some funds to help with the Christmas lighting of the courthouse. And I have no idea on a downtown lease what that is. So I don't know if she's wanting a lease for the office we gave her over there or what the case may be.
I don't know what she mentioned there.
And then the Christmas tree lot in the parking area on Ash and customers being able to park here. I did go talk to Jim about that yesterday. He's going to get back to me. He had concerns about allowing a private vendor to conduct business on county property. He just, and his biggest concern was that it was going to be an ongoing deal. He said he could see maybe if it was a one-day event, and especially if the vendor was maybe giving some of the proceeds back to the downtown association or, something like that. But he said just to allow a vendor to come and set up a lot for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something. He didn't know about that, so he was going to get back to me. So we'll have more on that on Monday. I got a skim or something on my eyes.
Yeah, I noticed you having a little trouble with
There's some drops there.
I'm not flirting with y'all. I'm just so. And then Jim's gonna get with us. He's gonna ask us about a LexisNexis online legal research agreement for his office, and then he's going to talk to us in closed session to deliberate on the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property in deliberation. And that if we make any decisions during that closed session, the decision would be made known in the open session. And then that is Monday's agenda. Any questions on it? We've got some, but I think the people here that need to answer them aren't here. So if there's nothing else on today's agenda or any word on today, then we'll stand adjourned at 9:51 a.m.